Executive Director who has just made comments. All of you, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, the district health officers, and other members coming from the districts. The Uganda AIDS Commission team are both present physically at the meeting, but also online. I greet you all and bring salutations from the Uganda AIDS Commission. First, I would like to appreciate and congratulate Charles and team for enabling me to join this meeting virtually. I should have been there physically, but as I'll tell you later on, when I'm ending my remarks, I will probably be in the region in 2 weeks' time on another intervention. So I should be able to meet all of you friends and colleagues there. But I'll begin by appreciating the leadership. It is very encouraging to see the top leadership of the district involved and interested in reviews. The RDC was very pertinent. You know, she emphasized the importance of coordination, the importance of reporting, and several other aspects, you know, that are important for programming. I wouldn't want to go through all of them. So, but having all of you members of the leadership as part of this process is very, very critical, because when leadership is involved, when leadership, you know, leads, then as technical teams, we cannot fail. We've seen the most vivid example around leadership in you know, political leadership in technical programs is COVID. How we've performed as a country when the head of state, you know, has been at the forefront of leading the COVID fight in Uganda. And of course, before that, HIV and all the other programs. So having all of you there with the interest and involvement, and I've been given the briefs of what has been happening, I would like to appreciate you for that and ask you to keep this up so that you know, when you're interested and you're following up, then all of us are able to also follow through and ensure that whatever we've planned happens. I've been briefed about, you know, the key issues that have come out from the meeting. And again, the RDC went through them. I don't want to go through every single one of them. It's a very good identification of the problems. She also pointed to the solutions. And one of the key ones that that maybe I can repeat here that she pointed to is the issue of, she was asking the elders to be involved, especially in one, ensuring that positive practices are promoted and revived, those that may have been neglected, but also that they should be involved in dropping bad cultural practices like FGM. So leadership, especially the elders, is very, very critical, because when you listen, everything technical has been done. The science is well known and it has been applied. So the remaining pieces for us to be able to achieve, especially the milestones on HIV, is to address some of those structural drivers, factors like gender-based violence, issues like alcohol, teenage pregnancies, and marriage, like she pointed out. And those, we really need the efforts of to work very closely with the leaders and the elders to be able to address them. So I thank you very much. I also thank our partners, the partners that we've been working with. I'll not enumerate every single one of them, but as government, these things would have not been easy to deal with if we didn't have partners working with us, and this should also continue. But I want to touch on a few aspects that as Uganda AIDS Commission will continue to work on, and also call on you to rally behind them. I know the team could have highlighted them during the discussions, and they may have come up during the reviews. And one of them is the HIV mainstreaming agenda. We know over the last 3 or so decades, a lot of our health interventions and HIV interventions have been predominantly supported in the area of between 70 and 80% donor support. Government has in the recent past increased progressively its own support, especially towards antiretroviral therapy and towards other commodities and health supplies. But this remains donor supported. And when you look at it, a lot of our support, like the American government alone, is putting in health and HIV anywhere close to $400 million every single year. Now, we are fortunate as a country to be getting this support, but it's not a sustainable approach and it's not good for us. It is not strategic because partners' priorities change. And if they change, if tomorrow they chose that HIV no longer remains a priority of theirs, you can see the gap that would create. And as a country, it would be a big struggle to cover that huge gap. So we've revived the effort to have HIV mainstreaming. The Minister of Finance has agreed, and if the accounting officers look at the first budget call circular for the new financial year that we have started planning for the next financial year, in addition to highlighting HIV and AIDS as a cross-cutting issue, which has been done in the past together with the gender and environment, this time they have been very specific and they have indicated that you need to also ministries, departments, and agencies, including local governments, need to allocate 0.1% of their overall budget to HIV. And we will work with you to go into the details of how that is done and what activities that would address. Largely, it's around for coordination and prevention, because we know the funds for treatment are channeled through the Ministry of Health and they go into the health facilities. But we also want individual institutions, including local governments, to have funding, run their own activities, to support the district AIDS committees, to be able to, if you have messaging, if you need to deal with certain things, then that's what the resources would support. When we, as Uganda AIDS Commission, when we reviewed the resources that government agencies had tried to put for the last financial year, it was, not a very small amount of money. It was close to 40 billion shillings. That's around $7 million every year. But we think if we implement what the Minister of Finance has proposed, they have also created a vote output for selected government agencies. We think that figure will progressively go up until, as government, we can sustainably fund a good proportion of our interventions from our own resources, so that, when the donors' resources come in, they're only addressing a part of it. I also want to reiterate and repeat what the RDC talked about in terms of addressing gender-based violence and early teenage pregnancies, especially during the COVID-19 period. We know that GBV increases the vulnerability, especially of women. It is known that if a woman is living in a situation of violence from their partner, the risk of acquiring HIV is 3 to 4 times higher than another woman who is not, in a violated situation. But also we know that the young girls, as the RDC, put it very correctly, they are vulnerable. They are trying to survive. They don't have skills to negotiate for safer sex, and they are being taken advantage of. So let's go out let's address these issues. Let's continue the message so that we are able to protect these groups. We know, for instance, the region, the Karamoja region, is one of the lucky ones. We've had a consistently low HIV prevalence, but between the last two sero surveys, the prevalence for the region doubled, partly because of the commercialization in the region. There's a lot of activity happening, but also the trafficking of the girls, to Kampala, and then when they go back, the infection spread. So let's be out and heighten the prevention message so that we can make sure that these are protected. As Uganda AIDS Commission, we will continue to strengthen our coordination aspect, work with you to ensure that these structures, both at the district but also below the district, are strengthened. Also working through the other partners, and partners have been able to support this. If we go to them and we've listed them as priorities within our interventions, they are keen to support them, which takes me to the next point of ensuring that districts have plans. It's very important for every district to develop a district HIV and AIDS strategic plan. I know we worked with you and all districts had plans, but these plans have expired. We finalized the new HIV strategic plan for the next 5 years. This should be able to guide, the development of the district-specific strategic plans. So we are available to work with you again and support you, working with the rest of the partners to ensure that you have district-specific HIV plans, because then that way, you're able to, point to the partners when they come in and say, my priorities are 1, 2, 3, this is where they are listed. And because it is there and endorsed by the local governments, it puts you in a very powerful bargaining position. And even with you're able to, negotiate for resources. But if you do not have a plan, you can talk until the cows come home, as they say, but you will not be able to deal with these issues. A plan puts you in a very, very strategic position for you to be able to negotiate with partners and implement the different interventions that you've listed and put in place. And we will continue to work with you. We'll work with the HIV focal persons at the districts. We'll work with the district health officers and the political leadership being in the lead to ensure that we address these issues. As I come to the conclusion, I think that again, together with partners and implementing partners and the district leadership, although the list of challenges seemed long, I think we've done well. There has been some progress. When you analyze the data, there are reductions here and there. The numbers look still small in terms of especially having an impact on new HIV infections, but that shouldn't make us despair. We should continue to address these issues. Again, I will pledge from the side of Uganda AIDS Commission that we will continue to support the processes. We shall be available. And again, I know that some of our partners, their support, some of it might be transitioning. We may see probably changes, but I know it continues to be a priority region for both government and a number of our partners, and I have no doubt that this support will continue in different ways. I would like to specifically single out our implementing partners. I want to acknowledge the support from the government of Ireland, that has enabled us to implement the Karamoja UN HIV program over the last 4 years with the great results. And we look forward, to continuing these programs going forward. And like I said earlier on, I will be in the region in the next 2 weeks physically to engage and interact with you. But I thank you again for this review, the Karamoja performance review that has been taking place over the last 2 days, and hope and look forward for similar reviews going forward. It's therefore my honor now and privilege to declare this meeting closed. I thank you very much. May God bless you.